Are you serious? Are you serious? As you can see, joining me today is Bob Kudlow at TradeGeniusAcademy.com. That's www.tradegeniusacademy.com. Bob, how you doing in sunny California?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's sunny and it's cool. And next week we may get some thunderstorms and a hurricane may come up from Mexico. So at least the people in Arizona might get a monsoon. Get rid of their drought. Maybe we'll get some rain out of it too. Hey, look,
Yeah.
it's the year. You know, I'm waiting for the cats and dogs and elephants to come out of the sky.
Yeah, you guys are needing the rain too, I think, pretty bad.
Not
That's
just here. I mean, Pennsylvania. Where I grew up,
yeah,
there major drought there too.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
kind
they
of a
really are.
funky year.
It's crazy. Here in Indiana, it's another nice day today, another beautiful day. We've had some great weather here the last couple of weeks. Hot for a while there, about 100 degrees there for a couple of days, but still nice. They've had plenty of rain. The crops look great, so everybody's doing fine here. Florida, they're scorching. That's why I haven't been down there. I'll go down there this weekend.
Mm.
All right, folks. Bob Kudlow is with us. Bob, we're going to ask you a little bit about this digital wallet in a minute, but could this be true? But before I do, I'm going to ask you, could this be true? 9.1 inflation. What is going on?
Well, everybody wants to interpret something into that, but the 9.1% is backward looking. I don't know if you noticed, but oil is down $30 from where it was a month ago.
Yep.
So that number is a bit of a screamer. But the 9.1% CPI number is wrong anyway. I mean, look, the government gave themselves a 21% raise last year, so they know what the real inflation rate is. The housing rentals were going up at 16%. I know the farmers that I follow are all telling me 15% plus cost increase to run their farms. So the 9.1% is like, okay, 9.1%. It's fun for Wall Street to speculate, but I don't know about your costs, but my costs were up more than 9.1% last year. But having said that, is that uh, we're rapidly going from inflation to deflation. So they just like they did in 1929, like they did in 1937, these guys, they don't know when to say when. They should have been raising rates 12 months before they started raising interest
Yeah.
rates.
Interest rates. Yeah.
They should already be done. And now, and they should be reducing rates, but they always seem to take things to the end. And they do that because they're not really trying to help you. They're trying to help the banks, acquire more
Yeah.
assets, gain more power. We won't get in all that, but for people out there, we're going from an inflation environment to a deflation environment really fast. I would say in 18 months, you'll see the 10-year yield back down towards zero again.
That'd be incredible. And by the way, you were speaking about the price of gasoline and oil. The president of the United States, Joe Biden, is in Israel right now, but he just tweeted. Brock, you have that tweet? Because he even wants to bring that up in a tweet, and I think it's you just also brought it up. It's very important that we see this. Let's enlarge that. Here you go. President Biden POTUS says energy alone comprised nearly half of today's inflation numbers. So here's what's important. The price of gas has decreased for the last 30 days straight. The price at the pump has dropped by 40 cents since mid-June. Gas should continue to come down in the days and weeks ahead. If he's correct, Bob, you feel good about, is he right that 50% of the inflation rate is because of the energy sector, because of the price of crude oil?
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. And when he said the CPI was outdated, he's not wrong either. What's happening here is that you're having, because he's behind, look, if this was Trump, he'd been screaming at the Fed, calling him all kinds of names for like 6 months. Biden went in and basically told the Fed that, hey, you can do what you need to do to get rid of inflation. So what do the banks do? They're going to jam interest rates up, and then they're going to go ahead and they're going to buy all the bonds and they're going to double their money next year when the bond market collapses again. When I mean bond yields collapse again.
Yep.
And he's sitting there and basically probably cost the Democratic Party their majorities in the midterm, and Republicans are having a heyday with it. Now, trust me, I am not a Biden fan, so I'm not defending him.
But you're right.
The point is that he's not doing. He finally somebody got to him. The right intern got to the tweets today. Okay, and that one won the lottery and got their tweet out today. And
It's still
yeah,
too
gas is going
expensive.
to
Gas,
SLH gas is going to stay expensive.
yeah, gas
Okay,
is still too expensive, and if it stays up there, though, I can't see how inflation can go down much because
well,
prices.
yeah, the numbers are funky. So, Paul, if prices don't increase anymore, inflation rate goes to zero. It
I
doesn't
know.
mean you can afford to live, but the
Right.
inflation rate goes to zero.
Yep.
So that's one of those statistical things that are like meaningless, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, really what really matters is your ability to, it's basically your wages versus your expenses,
Right.
and they're out of whack, and they're going to remain out of whack. And look, uh, from a religion standpoint, these guys worship the altar of the Green New Deal, right? And so they 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 have no other temple for you to go worship at, and so they just keep pounding on this thing constantly. So people in his administration is not going to let him do the things that are going to bring prices down where the average American can afford to live. Look, they would love nothing more than to shove everybody into the cities, right, and take mass transit, and then they can control you better. Number one, and number two is then they basically have all that land for themselves.
Right.
Look, the Dutch are already seen it. Dutch farmers already know that game's going on. They want to
It's
steal their
happening there.
and
Yeah, and the Dutch farmers are screaming because these new EPA regulations, they can't afford to even farm. They can't afford, and so they're going to break them. They're going to financially break those guys, and then the government will take the land. Is that what?
yeah, but it's not going to happen. Europe's not like the United States. These people have been on this land for 2, 3, 400 years. They're just not going to walk off the land because somebody wants to, some woke government wants to do it. I mean, those people they will go to war on
Yeah,
the, it's way different in the United States. We're not used to dealing with obscene governments like they are, and they're all on top of each other. So
yeah,
those farmers can get around in what is 40 miles by 40-mile country. I mean, it's not like
yeah,
you're dealing with, I got to go 3,000 miles to drive my truck around DC Beltway. These people can rally and they can shut down Amsterdam in an hour. And
yeah.
but they're on it. And but yeah, Biden's right. So we're down. Look, if we get below $95 a barrel, then the recession's on like Donkey Kong, right? So above 95 is gonna, we every time we've hit $95, we shot back up again. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, SLH, I live in California too. I'm glad it's not $6 anymore.
Yeah. 569 in California. Bob,
Hey,
Bob
it feels like a bargain now, Paul. Okay.
in California. I don't know how you guys are standing it. I mean,
I have to push my car to the gas station.
yeah, that's
So
what's happening. Yeah, long lines of people pushing. Yeah,
yeah, but but in seriousness, though, look, and we talked about this before. I can't do anything about what they're doing. All I can do is make sure that I get in front of that train or I react quick enough on that train. And at Trade Genius, we've just been focused on energy, and that play is not going to end anytime soon. So until this administration is out of power and we start recognizing fossil fuels and uranium with nuclear more, is that we're gonna have high prices, because there's not gonna be enough supply. And
right.
so buy those stocks.
Okay, now you're there. You go. You're saying, what do I do? So Bob, what we're asking is, what do we do? This is the environment we're in. Can people become a trader, begin to buy and trade, and actually take advantage of this time that we're in? And you say, go buy stocks. What stocks should they buy?
Well, look, I mean, we were just talking about this the other day. The energy names, look, we've had the worst start of a year for stocks ever, even below the Great Depression. And so we have a situation where our portfolios aren't the lowest they've been year to date because we've been heavy into energy names, and none of that's changing anytime soon. And so energy prices on stocks are still pricing in oil that's less than $80 a barrel, Paul. And so those energy companies are going to make money hand over fist. So we've been showing people how to get into energy names, and also energy names that have dividends and things of that nature. So, when I say we trade, you could trade like a crazy man, or you could swing trade, Or I do both. I have a swing trade account, I have a day trade account, and I have a long-term portfolio. And in those long-term portfolios, I'm in stocks that have a lot of dividends, energy names with dividends. I got ExxonMobil, Buffett's buying Chevron. Those are great companies. We're in natural gas companies. I have a couple of transportation companies that transport natural gas and transport ethanol that pay 10, 12% dividends. And we show people how you get those, how to buy them, when to buy them, how to hold them, and
So
how
in
to
other words, it's energy. The energy sector is where you
so
want
there's a
to
lot of ways
be.
you can do this.
The energy sector is where you want to be, but to figure out when to buy and when not to buy, when to buy, you guys, that's what Trade Genius Academy does, folks. It gives you the clues, it gives you the algorithm, it gives you the tools to know when to buy, what to buy, and teach you how to figure that out. More than just telling people what to do, you should teach them how they can identify it, right, Bob?
Yeah. So how it works for us is that you start off what's called probabilities, right? So you have, you need seasonality of probabilities. Like, we know in July is not a big month for energy. Okay. June's the high, then then it starts going back up in September. So, so you adjust your portfolio based on seasonality. But within that, we have algorithms that look at what's called pricing levels, and we have algorithms that look at momentum levels. And so we do, then we look and say, is it buy the dip or is this a sell the rip kind of trade? And do we have the volume and the acceleration behind it to make it worthwhile to trade it? And I'll give you an example. Yesterday we got a hit on, we're in the seasonality for miners, gold and silver miners now. And if anybody that's listening knows, gold and silver miners have been just getting destroyed because the dollar keeps going up higher and higher and higher. But whenever we get a buy signal, you have to see trade, take trade. So Heckler came up, boom, it hit all three of our signals. Seasonality's right. We had the buy the dip right. We had the momentum right. We bought it, and people made 6% on it today. And
Wow.
so that's how our system works. And I teach people how to do that, but also we give you the indicators. So the things that I use, I give you. You have access to it as long as you're a member of our service. So it's not like I'm sitting back behind a green curtain, Bob's voodoo shop.
You're
We
not a
actually,
Swami. You're not Bob the Swami.
that's right. We actually show you how it works. Trading's not difficult, it's hard. And what I
Yeah.
mean by that is the rules are right in front of you. People just don't believe the rules, just like the 10 commandments, right? They're right there in front of you. They're there to protect you, but hey, you got to touch the stove, right? And
You got
and
to.
with trading, the rules are right in front of you. We teach you the rules, and as long as you can discipline yourself to follow those rules. I mean, we even put alerts out that say buy and sell. So, I don't know what else you could do. We all the signs are there for you, and so as
Yeah.
long as you get into that mode, you're going to make money trading. And it doesn't even matter. Right now we're going to roll into a recession there, Paul. Energy names may fall, but we're already pivoting into the bonds. So when you go from an inflation trade to a deflation trade, you flip from inflation stuff, you flip to deflation stuff, and you just keep making money. You don't worry about what the world is doing. You just try to get in front of it, or you react to it. You do all your worrying outside of trading. Okay, how do I feed my family? What job do I have? All that good stuff. But trading, it doesn't matter. The rich people always have a casino going for themselves, and we'll teach you how to win in the casino. So
You saw there the summer special you're running of $399 this to get you in the game for beginners. Is that a good place where people should start? Is in that program right there?
yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. You get almost everything in that room. So you get the signals, you get the training, you get the chat room. Yeah, you get the package. And the only thing you don't get is you don't get access to the VIP room where you can talk to me. And that's only $599, Paul. So
Oh,
these are really good deals. You can trade stocks, you can trade crypto, you can trade futures markets with us. You can just pick the bundle that works for you. But $399, I mean, it's pretty inexpensive as these kind of services go. And I've been doing this for you. I don't know, we're on 7 or 8 years now, Paul.
seven or eight years. 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, so we've always kept our prices modest, and in fact, inflation's doubled, our costs have gone up, but we kept our prices the same.
Yeah.
So, we win by you staying with me, and you stay with me if you make money with me. So it's a really simple game,
Yeah.
and so my marketing plan is to make you money, and then you turn around and you support my efforts. So that's how it works. And guys, and we'll definitely help you. I mean, this is actually an awesome time to be a trader, because when there's great indecisions and there's great uncertainty, come great profits, and you just have to be open to being counterintuitive, if you will. And apologize, I'm going to cough.
Matter
Been
of fact,
here for a couple of weeks.
yeah, I'm praying that you get better real quick on that one. Now, there's people out there talking about a digital wallet. Brock, you want to show that just for a second? A digital wallet. I know technology is advancing, okay, and we went from cash to debit cards to other items, but are we going to go to something even beyond that? Do you see technology? Is there something coming in the horizon that's ahead of us yet? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, we are digital now, Paul. So, because I mean, probably 95% of your transactions are digital. But I think what you're referencing to is that where that data is being stored, like the banking system today, you're stored, but it's not really real time for you. So now
No.
we're doing this transition now. So now you see Venmo out there, and you see Zelle out there, where you can pay somebody immediately and they can pay you immediately, and you have crypto out there where you can do what's called peer to peer. So now we're moving from a centralized banking thing to a peer to peer thing. But what everybody is fearful of, which I am as well, is when somebody like an agency such as the federal government or the Federal Reserve wants to be the central repository and give you a digital access to your money, because that's been all
That's kind
the
of like China. That's like China. That's what's
that's
happening there. That's what's happening in China, Bob. That Providence there, 4 banks is just holding all the people's savings, won't let them have it back. And the
right.
people are, and the people are like, hey, you've had them froze since April. You're saying you had a cash crunch. This is mid-July. We don't want the federal government to have a key to our account. And let me just say this: with this digital transactions, these not Yelp,
Zelle.
Zelle, and these others, instantaneously you can send money. Well, the banks, for instance, we pay our mortgage, and the mortgage company says we've received your money, but we're not posting it for 12 days. And here's why: they're charging me daily interest. So they're playing this game. The next month they do 7 days. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of those guys. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to refinance, get rid of those guys. But here's the problem: will this quick transition transactions, will this eliminate banks possibly, or eliminate a lot of the banking controls?
Yeah, I don't know, eliminate banking controls, but if you think about it, the Bank of International Settlements, the BIS in Spain, Switzerland, uh, you know, everything in the world could be stored there. You don't need your local bank. I mean, the guy talks like that. I will have access to all of your information, all of your transactions, and they can then sit there and play gatekeeper. So what
Yeah.
China does, the next evolution is what China's already done. The stuff with the banking, they can do that today in the U.S. You can shut a bank down tomorrow. We got FDIC. In China, they don't have it. But what China does, which is really, really scary, is that China has an ability to actually shut off your access to certain transactions. They can tell your QR code to get on a bus or a train or a plane is now curtailed. So you get that all of a sudden. Let's say the Biden administration. Let's not pick on Biden. Let's say the Trump administration didn't want a whole bunch of people come protesting in D.C. on him. Right? He could turn right around if he had this system and shut off everybody who he knows is a Democrat ability to travel.
Wow.
And that's what China did. Those people with the banking issues, they shut those people's ability off to get on a bus or a train or a plane. They knew who the depositors were. They knew what bank they were with, and those people just got shut off.
So they couldn't go nowhere.
They couldn't get the bank to riot or to protest. So that's what everybody fears. And Paul, where that ends up, right? That's the market of beast stuff. So everybody for years had told me, "Oh, Bob, Bitcoin's the market of beast." I'm like, "No, you got to ask backwards, because it's decentralized. The market of beast is coming out of Switzerland right now with the BIS. Okay, that's their ultimate goal." And it's ironic that it's in the Holy Roman Empire too, of all places.
Wow.
I'm not making any biblical prophecy there. All I'm doing is just kind of pointing out the obvious, I
was getting ready to say prophecy alert. Prophecy alert. Bob Kudlow says it's the Holy Roman Empire.
Buy my service for a year before God comes back.
Well, obviously, folks, Wall Street is they're spinning out there. They're trying to. They're up today. They're down tomorrow. They're one step forward, two steps back. It's kind of just. We went from 36,000 to around 30,000, and I don't know if that's the floor. Is that where we're going to settle now with interest rates going up? Does that kind of stabilize everything, or does it even fall a couple more thousand points before it's all said and done? I don't know. You and I have talked about this before, but Main Street's different than Wall Street. Main Street. People are still, as you said, you can't even go by the inflation numbers, because even the prices were to stabilize for the next year, inflation would come all the way down to zero. The prices of everything that are at right now would still be the same. Right. I doubt your pay, folks, is going to go up to match it. This means this nation is in for a 2, 3, 4 year recession. Would you agree with that, Bob?
Yeah, I mean, my view is that we'll be in a recession into the next presidential election. It's baked in the cake. So here's the thing, too. And, I can put it all on Biden's feet, but it's not just Biden. We have demographics are going against us. We have we have a system that was designed to consume, not produce. Okay. We gave away our high value added manufacturing jobs to China. Okay. All that stuff preceded Biden. He just went ahead and took gas cans and threw it all over the building, by just doubling down on dumb policies. So now we have these supply chain issues that they can't work their way out of. So all that means is when the Federal Reserve decided to raise interest rates, they created a situation where they broke people. Okay, people are broke. Not only and literally and figuratively, they're broken. So, I mean, people are making decisions to quit jobs, Paul, because they can't get. It makes no sense for them to go to work and come home, because it's eating your whole paycheck up.
Right.
And so you got those situations where that's causing a lot of disruption, but you also have demographic issues. Look, you and I are on the other side of the top of the mountain, right? We're gliding down to glory, and as we get older, we spend less money. Because we have all our material possessions that we desired and acquired over a lifetime. So, we're more now into what I call experiences and consumables. So those big purchases are behind us, and that's most of the population now. We're and this pandemic kind of accelerated all that stuff. So home prices are not going to go up anymore, but they may not go down. So the rents are going to stay sticky, and people are now stuck in their houses. Hey, if I want to sell my house and move to a smaller house, I may not get what I want out of my house to be able to do that and retire without a mortgage, so that people kind of get stuck. And that just keeps things sticky for people. And that causes that malaise and morass that we had in the 70s. And you remember, you and I were just little kids, but we felt that because, we couldn't get to school. We had a 1-car house when I grew up. And
me too.
If I missed my ride home from sports, I had to walk home. And it truly was a walk. It wasn't like the 5 miles up and down in the snow walk. It was truly a walk. After 2 hours of practice, I got to walk home on top of it, and only because, and it wasn't even a thing. It wasn't like I call and beg my mom and dad. I think, hey, Dad needs the car for work. He didn't have.
You have to walk home, catch a ride or walk home. Catch a ride. I've done it so many times.
And that's today again. People literally my daughter and her friends went out to do a trip. They all had to pool the money for gas. You know what I mean?
Yep.
2 years ago, you didn't have to worry about that stuff, and now that gets spit into people's psyches, and once that then people pull back, and that's what's going to keep this recession longer lasting. And plus, this administration, people are getting tired of being yelled at. You know what I mean? They're told they're stupid. They're told they're going to die. They're told them it's their fault. So people get that fatigue, and also they get resentful of it, and then people shut down. That's a natural reaction. So, you don't have somebody in there, praising, embracing a better future. It's always negative, and that's going to keep the recession in place for a long time. And so people have to be aware of that. Now, the good news from that is there won't be demand for credit. Okay. And the other thing that's going to happen, Paul, if we think it's bad here, Europe is positively going to implode.
Is that part of the reason they got rid of Boris Johnson? Do you think that do they think they're really going to, how are they going to deal with the negativity of the implosion? Because that's really happening in Europe.
There's 3 Europes right now. There's continental Europe, there's Scandinavia Europe, and then there's Anglo Europe. The British Isles is going off on their own. They got rid of Boris Johnson because he got too woke. The conservative movement just blew him out of there. Yeah. So they're going to probably lean somebody a little bit more to the right. Scandinavia is fine because they have hydro and they got oil up there. Okay. And then you have continental Europe, which is screwed, blued, and tattooed. I mean, they can lose 25 to 30% of their energy availability, if you will. Well, that's Great Depression stuff.
That will.
I was joking around. I said we should do Adopt a German Family Month in the United States. Bring them over here for the winter, so we get them out of their own country. And I'm only happy. There's going to be there will be people. There'll be hundreds of thousands of people potentially dead. And you know me, I'm never like animated about this stuff. But this year, I mean, and those people haven't seen this in 70 years. And I think it could be that way again. And Putin is in a situation now where he's angry, and he doesn't care, and he thinks God's on his side here, which makes it really interesting from God and Magog, right? He truly believes that he is right on this stuff. He thinks the West. Look at in his point of view, the Orthodox, right? He's a member of good standing of the Orthodox Church. He thinks the West has lost it, right?
Yes, that's what he believes.
They're into woke, they're into trans, they're into all this crazy stuff. They blame him for everything. And look what he's doing. So he has this thing going there. He's fighting in Ukraine, but also he's in Syria right now. And he's poking at the Israelis right now.
Yes, he is.
So you sit there and say, okay, the kings of the south, can that be Saudi Arabia? If I was Putin, say, man, if I took out the Saudi oil fields, would my oil fields be worth a lot more? Huh. And then he's meeting next week with Iran and Turkey, and this is
boot scooting, nuking Putin. He's threatening to throw the nuke every other day.
Right, and look, the coastlands will burn. I mean, these are some pretty wild things here, and look what happened. And the other kings the kings of Dendesh, I can't say it right. But anyway, Biden, they just sit there and look. Well, look at Biden. He just sits there and looks,
That's what is going on. We're watching prophecy, Bob, right now. It's playing out. And there's no denying it. Okay, there's no denying it. So you got to stay on that's part of the reason why people want to know what prophecy says, what's going to happen. And here in America, you might want to, you might really put that summer special up there again, Brock. I'm really telling you this, folks. As bad as it will get with some of this pricing and energy cost and availability, there's also great opportunities for you to buy and sell and trade in the market this coming fall and winter, because it's so predictable. And that's what Bob is so good at, predicting when to buy and when to sell. And it isn't because he just like rolls the dice. It isn't like a roulette wheel over here. You're using algorithms and experience and your financial training and just really real world things to know what's going on. And you're really unique because you study the weather. You know how that affects the cost of the grain. Now you got a war where the wheat and the barley are being damaged and they're setting the fields on fire. you pretty well know what's going to go up and what's going to go down. I would say housing is going to go down. It's going to slow down. I'd say price of food is going to continue to go up along with energy and other things. Okay. And healthcare, I don't know what you do with that. I don't even know what to do with that. But it seems like you can never go. You can never go wrong.
Sick, Paul.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with a pharmaceutical stock. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah, unless it's Moderna, but yeah, it's interesting, when you say those things. That here's one I'll throw at you guys. So in 10 days, Putin is shutting down the pipelines for maintenance. Long been planned for planned maintenance for the pipeline. They do that every summer, and but they're worried that he won't turn them back on again, Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he could say we're having malfunctions. We've got problems going on. You guys won't quit sending these javelins over here to Ukraine. They're sabotaging, and he could even sabotage one of them himself, and then say,
Well, the reason why I tell people that is, I'm getting trades set up for that day because natural gas prices will go through the roof. And so I tend to pay for my natural gas bill by owning natural gas companies. So
go figure.
Yeah, so if you trade with us guys,
that's another part. That's another reason why that's another reason you're the trade genius. You know that he's going to shut the pipelines down for maintenance. As soon as he does, LP gas, natural gas, and natural gas for sure is going to skyrocket, and you're just sitting there waiting. Because when you're waiting, so you're going to tell people a day or two or a few days before, buy, and then all of a sudden, and they'll be buying the stock, and all of a sudden, the thing's going to shoot, and it's coming.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't have to jump in front of the trade. There's a wisdom in the crowd, so there'll be other momentum coming in, and we just hop on the train and we go. We call ourselves seagulls, Paul. We let the bait ball come to the surface, we feed, and we get out of the way before the sharks eat us.
Yeah, before the sharks get there, right?
Yeah. So that's how it works. Yeah, and rinse and repeat. Look, and we don't know. Ezekiel 38 may happen, but we don't know when things are going to happen. So every day you have to, you need to have the lamp on your feet, right? You got to be one of the 10 versions. Right. You have to have your lights on. You can't just sit at home in a cave waiting for God.
No.
And so that's why people always say to me, "Oh, Bob, this is going to happen. Why should I trade?" Well, I don't know. God didn't give me insight on the day and the hour. So I got to feed my family till that happens.
Yeah, and we don't know the day or the hour, and we don't even know. Look, in the year 1099 or the year 999, they were selling everything, waiting for Jesus. Okay,
that's
absolutely. Years ago, you have to use wisdom. You have to occupy till he comes. Occupy. That means keep going till he comes. Use some wisdom. Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I know we're going to wrap up here too, but for people, I think the low's in for the year for the stock market. Okay, at least till the election. Today they could have pushed the market down because of the high CPI print. They didn't. The market ended up flat. Oil didn't go up, so I think oil's probably top for now. Stock market's bottom for now, and I reserve the right after September, October to see if it's going to push either way again. But we should be probably in a situation where we should get a bit of a relief rally here. We got to get through the earnings reports, but I think they're rapidly bringing down the estimates, so they could be probably pretty benign. Well, look, we had the worst start of a stock market ever, so it's not like they've been front running some of this bad news. And then once we get into the election, then we'll have more things we got to worry about. So if Republicans take both Congresses, you're going to see some retribution on the Republican side against the Democrats, but Biden's administration's agenda is shut down. And that's a bad thing. It's just that means we won't really gain any ground until the 2024 election. Now, if the Democrats win everything, it's Katie bar the door, okay?
Right.
Because they're going to put it. They're going to bring hell on earth. Okay?
We're going to go green in many different ways. You really are. You're true. It's right. They'll bring hell on earth in every different concept of our life. It's true.
They will punish us for defying them. Yep.
Bob Kudla, folks, TradeGeniusAcademy.com. That's www.TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Go there today, and it's time. Right now, there's an opportunity for you to get in, get started, and get on that, get going in the right direction. And Bob will point you in the right direction. I guarantee he's a good Christian man. I love this brother. He tells it the way it is, and he's being successful. People are being successful that are with him. So that's where I say you need to go. Bob, I appreciate it again. It was a lot of fun. We always cover Bible prophecy, politics, real world situations. And isn't that really the world we're living in?
Yeah, everything's interconnected. So might as well talk about it all.
Amen. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it today. TradeGeniusAcademy.com, folks. www.TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Go there today. You'll be glad you did.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Thank you.